Hi, Maymay. Hi, Walter. I hope you're doing well. This is the next chapter in the continuing saga of the Pup Catiliver gang. So, the puppies were out for a walk, but they were in New Hampshire on the mountains, going up and down, very high mountains, going up and down. And all the puppies were there. Maymay, Walter, Ishkabibble Jones, Two-Ton Tony, Greasy Johnson, Handstand Harry, Mama, but not Papa. Papa was sleeping. He's an old man, white hair, all that. Okay, so they're walking up and down the mountains. And it's great. They're having a good time. It's a nice day and everything else. And all of a sudden, they hear barking. And they look around. Maymay looks around and she sees Bear, the dog. Not Dog the bear, but Bear the dog. Just a little clarification. They see Bear with something in his mouth. And they can't quite figure it out. So Maymay leans down, and this is what she sees. Underpants. Bear is walking around with an underpants in his mouth. And he's walking around, he's prancing, playing this and that. And Maymay says, whoa, this is strange. Where can he get the underpants from? Well, no sooner than they see Bear with the underpants, they walk around the corner and they hear tra-la-la, tra-la-la. And guess who is around the corner? That's right, Captain Underpants. Or we sometimes call him Undies. Undies. Instead of Captain Underpants, Undies. Capital U. Undies. Undies wearing undies. Small U. Big U, small U. Undies, undies. Undies, undies. Okay. So it's Captain Underpants, and Bear stole his underpants so quick that Captain Underpants never realized that he wasn't wearing anything. Well, no, sorry. He was wearing his cape. He's got his cape. And then nothing. Zero. Naked. More or less naked. And this is not a perfect body. Underpants, Captain Underpants, or undies as we say, even with underpants, does not have the most athletic, appealing body. Without underpants, with nothing, he's a big guy, very roly-poly, and it's a little gross, a little smelly too. Okay, so now he sees Bear, and Bear, and he goes, whoa, you stole my underpants. Give them back. How dare you, you thief? How dare you? And Maymay, who wants to settle this whole thing, decides that she's going to try to get Bear to give back, or at least she's going to take the undies, small U, take the undies from Bear and give them to Captain Underpants, big U, undies. Okay. So what she does is she snaps her hands. She snaps not her pants, because the pants are like this. She snaps her hands. So Bear, Bear, Bear. And, of course, you know what happens. With the snapping of the fingers, Captain Underpants turns into Mr. Krupp. Mr. Krupp, the mean principal. Now, I got to say something about principals. Mr. Krupp is a rare principal. Most principals are very, very nice. They're not mean at all. They care about kids. They're committed. They're very, very nice people. But Mr. Krupp is that rare one who is mean. And so he goes, whoa, where is my underpants? Now, Mr. Krupp is also naked, right? He's got nothing on. And he's running around while Bear is And he sees Bear, and he says, "Come back here, brother." The same thing that Captain Underpants, or Undies, has been saying. And they're running around, and meanwhile, May doesn't realize that the snapping changes the identity. She keeps snapping, and every time she snaps, Crump turns into Mr. Captain Underpants, back to Crump, back to Underpants. It's getting crazy. They're going back and forth. Nobody can tell who's who, what's happening, and everybody's getting dizzy. And meanwhile, Harold and George, the kids who hypnotized Mr. Crump, right, with the 3D or 4D, the 3D hypno ring, right? They're standing there laughing and laughing. Ha 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 ha. They're having a great time watching Crump and Captain Underpants changing identities back and forth. Everybody's getting crazy with the whole thing. But meanwhile, is running around, and he runs into Greasy Johnson. Falls down. The Harold gets greasy, and Harold and George also fall over, and they get all greasy. And now you got Harold and George with greasy, but they're laughing. You got Crump and Captain Underpants changing identities back and forth, and the puppies are sitting around trying to figure out what's happening. And they're walking. They still turn a corner, and all of a sudden they hear. All of a sudden, they hear, "Stop! I'm in charge here." And everybody stops. And they look around, and they're looking, and they don't see anything. And the reason is because guess who is talking? Boss Baby, who's very small, real small. Also, May and all the puppies except for Greasy, they're 10 feet tall. Boss Baby is a baby, and he's really small. And he also has like 6 other babies with him, and they're all disgusting. They're drooling spit and snot. Everything is coming out of their nose. They got water bottles and everything. They're whining, blah, 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 but they're laughing. They're reaching. They're little babies. What do you know? So there's 6 of those babies, and there's Boss Baby screaming, "I'm in charge here. I'll manage this. I'll handle it." And he sees a bear, and he says, "That dog is too cute. That dog is taking the attention away from all of the babies who deserve all of the attention because we are much cuter, even though we're dribbling and we're snotting and we're, picking our nose and all of this and everything is happening. We are much cuter than that dog." Right. So now they all start chasing Bear around, and at a certain point, Captain Underpants, who is Captain Underpants, and big, round, roly-poly, trips over Greasy. Everybody is tripping, and Greasy's, and they're slipping, and they're sliding, and he starts rolling. And Captain Underpants starts rolling, and he's rolling, and it's like a bowling ball, a huge 300-pound bowling ball. Can you imagine if this thing rolls over you? Well, that's what happened, because he clears out everybody. They're all flying all over the place. You got babies, you got milk, you have a bear with that you got everything is happening. Grease, Harold and George laughing, but still Greasy, flying all over the place. And they turn the corner, and what do they see? A cave. They see a cave. There's a cave there, and Bear runs into right. So he runs into the cave, and he runs way to the back, and everybody runs after him into the cave, and pretty soon they hear rah, 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 rah. And guess who comes out from the back of the cave? Not the cave. Did I say cave? Cave. Guess who comes back from the front of the cave? No, guess who comes from the back of the cave? You guessed it. The Croods! The Croods come. And Grug Crood. Grug Crood. Say that 10 times right. Grug Crood, Grug Crood, Grug. Okay. Grug Crood comes to the front and sees everybody, and he's holding Bear. He's holding Bear in his hand, and Bear, of course, still has, and he's holding Bear, and he goes, "This is going to be a wonderful lunch for my family." And everybody is standing there, and the first thing that Walter Fortner says is, "Not so fast, big boy. That's my pet." And Grug says, "Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. So funny. This is so funny. This is lunch. Here is lunch." And and Thunk Crude. Say that 10 times. Thunk Crude. Thunk says, no. That's my pet. And Walter says, pet. Grug says, lunch. Walter and Thunk say, pet. Walter says, Grug says, lunch. Then you get pet and lunch and pet, lunch. And pretty soon, somebody from the back, like Harold or George, I think, start keeping the beat. And all of a sudden, it turns into a dance. The people are dancing. Lunch, pet, lunch, pet, lunch, pet, lunch, pet. And then, wait, finally, Bear, who is covered with grease, is slipping out of the hands of Grug. He's slipping, and Grug is dancing. Pet, lunch, and Bear falls to the ground. The underwear falls out of his mouth, and he runs over to May and Walter, and Thunk picks up the underpants. He picks up the underpants. Right? Now, you got, and what he starts petting the underpants. Right? He goes, oh. He thinks that the underpants, not Bear, the underpants is his pet. So you had Thunk looking at the underpants as a pet, and Walter looking at Bear as a pet. Now Thunk and Grug and the rest of the Croods, they're like cave people. They're just starting out in this whole evolution thing. It take them a while, like to get to us, which is like maybe 3-4 weeks. No, that's the way he's thinking. Thunk is thinking, okay. But meanwhile, Captain Underpants, undies with the large E, sees Thunk with his underpants. And he goes, "Give me those underpants. They're mine." And he shows himself off without the underpants, and everybody goes, "Whoa, you need something, like maybe even more than underpants, like maybe a suit of armor or some silo or something to cover you all up." But in the end, what happens is Eep, Ugga, and Granny of the Croods, they figure it all out. And they say, "Wait a minute, Thunk, your undies, small U, are undies, right? Big U, small U. They're Captain Underpants undies. Give them back." Thunk is not happy he's losing his pet. And he says, "Oh, okay." And he gives them to Captain Underpants, who takes like 2 or 3 hours, and he gets into them, right? So now you've got Captain Underpants wholly formed, and Eep and Ugga and Granny say to Grug, that Bear belongs to May and Walter, and they can't have Bear for lunch because he is a pet, and he is Walter and May's pet dog. But they turn to Boss Baby, and they say, those babies, the ones that are drooling, spit, and picking their noses and drinking and throwing milk all over the place and vomiting and everything else, they really are cute. They're more cute than Bear, who's pretty greasy at this moment. And to tell you the truth, we'd like you to stick around because we like cute babies. So why don't you do us a favor and stick around and have lunch with us? We're having rocks. And the Boss Baby says, well, rocks? You got any ketchup with the rocks? Anyway, the babies stay there. They all have lunch. Captain Underpants gets his underpants back. He goes home, and the the puppies go home happily ever after. And that is the story of the Pup Cotilliver Gang, Captain Underpants, Boss Baby, and the Croods. We love you, May. We love you, Walter.